Hi everyone, I'm Joe. Today it's time for me to do my monthly reading wrap up for March 2023. March was a really good reading month, as well as a really good month for watching television programs, which I will make an exception for my monthly reading wrap up and include two programs that I've actually watched, which I'll start with. The first of those programs is Shadow and Bone, which might surprise people because it is based on a young adult book series called The Grishaverse by Leviathan, which I have never read and never planned to read. However, a friend of mine, Rachel, known as Caliban BookTube, suggested that she thought that I might quite enjoy the series because it's quite traditional fantasy and it's quite well made. So obviously I have complete trust in Rachel, so hence me watching the series. And I must say I actually quite liked it. I didn't love the series, it wasn't like wow astonishing, but it was relatively straightforward fantasy. It was cliched, to be sure, but it was well made. The cast obviously truly enjoyed making it. It was all the costuming and the sets and that sort of thing. I mean, it had a fairly big budget, I would assume, so it was really well made. And it was enjoyable enough. And there's two sets of characters, sort of good characters. But one of them is essentially, even though I might not see me, essentially a group of thieves, and that group, that sort of criminal group, is the one that I like because they're just a fun group. That criminal group. If you know the books, which if you watch my channel, you might not do because frankly, my channel is normally science fiction. Then, yeah, that group worked rather well for me. The second program that I watched in March was not book related, but I really wanted to mention it just because I enjoyed it so much. Actually, it's one of the best programs I've watched in years, and that is Wednesday. This is based on the original Addams Family television series from the 60s, is it? I'm not sure. I'm not a fan of anything else related to the Addams Family. This is based obviously on the daughter of the Addams Family. You know, you've got this spooky, kooky, and there's a whole song to go along with it, family that are all, you know, very sort of goth-like, all wear black and such all the time. It's based on the teenage daughter, Wednesday. And this is unusual and also a first for me in that this series is directed by Tim Burton, and I actually really liked it. I've never liked anything that Tim Burton's ever directed before. Everything I've watched by him, and I have watched a fair few things at this point, I thought generally are terrible and they're generally depressive and I don't like them as a program. They don't work for me. This actually was a first. It's a program that I actually loved, and yet it's directed by Tim Burton, which is frankly remarkable. The program is also well known, I think, as well because it's got a well-known sort of actress at the moment, and that is Jenna Ortega playing the role of Wednesday, and she's become really well known extremely quickly because this has done remarkable numbers and, you know, success and that sort of thing. If that's of interest to you, which I literally don't care about numbers when I watch anything, or indeed, you know, same as reading books. I don't read popular things. I just read what interests me. And this was fun. Basically, it's quite dark and obviously got like a dark sort of gothic style, but you can tell they truly loved making it. It's got a sense of humour that works for me, with a lot of sarcasm and just sort of very dry delivery of sarcasm, which is very much my sarcasm and sense of humour. And I just really like this overall, and I would highly recommend Wednesday. Now I will get straight on to talking about the books that I read. So this is business as usual for my monthly wrap up. And the first book was a buddy read with a friend of mine, Rachel, known as Caliban BookTube, who I will link in the description box below. And that book is Growing Up Weightless by John M. Ford. And yes, this is yet another SF Masterworks, the yellow spines that I've got a lot of at this point. Now this is the first book by John M. Ford that either myself or Rachel has ever read, and it will not be the last because in fact we will be in the next month, I believe, reading another book by John M. Ford together, because we both really enjoyed this book. When I talk about this now, by the way, I'm not going to be as eloquent and detailed as Rachel, because when Rachel talked about it, I was really impressed, and hopefully I can be somewhat as eloquent as Rachel. That's going to be a challenge. So, Growing Up Weightless essentially is about two characters set on Luna, or the moon, a father and son. The father is essentially an elder statesman type figure within the lunar government. He's been there since the sort of formation of the government, and you think he's very set in his ways and such. And the son is, unsurprisingly, younger and more idealistic, and doesn't really approve of his father's way of thinking and such. And also, there's a bit of a twist on this, because you'd think it might be political with lots of world building, and it's kind of not, actually. Yes, it mentions the politics but doesn't dwell on them, because a large part of the book is essentially the son going on essentially a weekend trip with his friends across the moon, Luna, on a train, and visiting several little cities on the way, and essentially going on a sort of a role-playing gaming weekend where they put on virtual reality headsets and play a game set in Sherwood Forest with Sheriff of Nottingham and such like that, which is a bit weird. And those parts, which are actually given longer than I would have expected, neither was particularly a lot. They were a bit like, well, yes, we know he's playing the game, but do you have to dwell on it this much? I mean, it's not exactly a long book, and you're dwelling on this interactive Sherwood Forest game rather more than this, though. Well, that's fine. The thing that he does well, which brings his book into like really high regard by both myself and Rachel, is that Ford, despite the relatively short length, I mean, if any modern contemporaries might do this, although this is not an actual book, this is in the early 2000s, this book would probably be 500 or 600 pages, and this is definitely not that, because he gives you the inkling and sort of hints that, oh yes, by the way, over there where the characters are looking at this environment, yes, there's all this world building that could go on with all these elaborate systems and political systems. The character will look at them, briefly think about them, and then just carry on with his travel across the lunar surface with his friends and playing this game. And he doesn't dwell on it and doesn't even go into that much depth. And it's a bit surprising, because you think, well, if you're going to mention it, surely you'd go into depth about it. And he really doesn't. He goes very light. It's left up to you. If you want to try and create these systems in your head, you can. But if you don't, it's fine. It doesn't take anything away from the book, which is actually quite an achievement, and frankly is really impressive, because you think, well, telling you that there is going to be world building, or there could be, and then not giving you it would be, frankly, a bit of a sort of tease, as you might say, and quite annoying, because you think, well, I want to know more about the system, and yet then you don't get more information about it. You don't get the advanced world building to the level that you would probably expect from other science fiction books. You don't mind, because he's written in such a way that his writing is descriptive enough and evocative enough that it's fine. You can live with just the hints of world building, and the little bits of world building that you do have, which are really done really well, you're happy to have. So it's a remarkable book, actually, and I'm really quite eager to read something else by Ford as well. And the second and last thing I'm going to talk about in this video, yes, there are 7 books, and I'm already on to the last lot, so the last lot must be 6 books together. And those books are books 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 in the Expanse series, written by James S.A. Corey. Yeah, I was kind of busy reading the Expanse series this month, so the 6 books that make up the Expanse are Leviathan Wakes, Caliban's War, Abaddon's Gate, Cibola Burn, there's a lot of them, Nemesis Games, and finally Babylon's Ashes. Now, overall, The Expanse is 9 books long. I've only recently brought books 7, 8 and 9 because the 9th book was only just released a few months ago in paperback, which is obviously the format that I've got these ones in. I have read all of the 6 first Expanse books before, so these are all rereads for me, and I loved them the first time and I loved them this time. This is a big space opera series, science fiction. They made a television series of this through Amazon 1 or 2 years ago now. I think it has officially ended, and which I would be quite keen to watch. And this is very much the classic epic space opera with lots of characters, big world events. Basically you've got multiple planets, threats to humanity's existence, and wiping out all of its life, and a group of characters have to come together to try to defeat the threat to itself. It's all classic space opera, and it does really well here, with a focus on the 4 members of a crew on the spaceship called the Rocky Cantu. I could be pronouncing that correctly. I'm never sure how you pronounce it. James Holden, Naomi Nagata, Amos Burton and Alex Kamal, with several other long-term characters very quickly becoming a favourite as well. And indeed, 2 of the other favourite characters that were brought in book 2, which have become my personal favourites, is a politician called Avasarala and a Martian Marine called Bobby Draper. Those 2 characters are brilliant in their own way, and I just really like them. Every character in this book are just really detailed and well developed, and you can really get into the characters. They've all got obviously their own backstories and with complex histories and such, as you'd expect from something like this. At this point I do not know all of the backstory and all of the history, of course, because there's still 3 books for me to finally read now that I've actually got the last 3 books. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the last 3 books in The Expanse, which I'm going to be reading in April. So I might do a sort of a series overview and review once I've read the last 3 books. I don't know yet, but I wouldn't be surprised, because I've been wanting to read the whole series and do things about them for a while, because these are very much my thing, as you would guess from, if you know me, my history with space opera in the past. So with that said, that is actually it for this month's reading and this month's television programme. What I'm thinking, by the way, for the future is, if I do watch any other television series that I think are particularly worthy of me speaking about. Me watching television series, by the way, is a rare event, because if I'm watching a television series, in the time that it takes me to watch all the episodes, I could have read half of the books. So I don't put that much priority on series, but occasionally I actually will stop extending my watch list, which is now in the hundreds, and actually occasionally watch one of those programs that I'm adding to it. So, I might actually include them in monthly wrap-up from time to time from now on. And with that said, that is actually it for this video. So, if you have read any of these books, which I can only just hold without dropping, or you'd like to, or you'd like to know more information about, then please leave a comment. Or you obviously want to talk about any of the series, then again, leave a comment. A link to Rachel and a link to all of these books, as well as my social media, can be found in the description box below. And with that said, that is it for this video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day. Bye for now.